Hello. Today I want to give a quick tutorial on how to use the Microsoft Word equation editor. It's pretty simple to use. It's really important for engineers to know. There's going to be a lot of times in your career where you're going to have to write word equations out in the editor. So in order to do that, let's get started. All right, first thing we want to do, what I want to cover is first the Greek letters, subscripts and superscripts, fractions, large brackets, exponentials and special functions like sine, cosine, and then Laplacian. There's a lot more we can cover, but I just want to give you a quick start on how to do it. So I'm sharing my screen with the Microsoft Word. And the first thing we want to do is we want to enter an equation. So we go up to the top, insert, equation. All right. Now, once you're here, you can go up to the equation tools at the top. You can see there's a whole lot of options you can have. So almost all these functions you can get from the very top. There's also some shortcuts. Just for your information, a lot of the shortcuts are actually based on LaTeX. If you've heard of the LaTeX equation editor, LaTeX is a very powerful equation editor, but there's quite a bit of a steep learning curve. So we'll use some of the shortcuts, and I'll use the menu for other things. So the first thing, let's just start. You just start typing. So we're going to start with n of t. All right, n of t equals 5. All right, it's pretty basic. You just start, stop. Now, if we get out of the equation editor, we can write some text down here. All right, so it's very simple to use on basic equations. But what if you want to do something a little more elaborate? Let's go back up. We can click on it, and then we're back into the equation editor. Let's put some Greek letters in there. Again, you can go up to the tools and get the menu, and you can select all the different Greek letters you want and special things. But I found it it's most easiest just to type them out, starting with the backslash. For example, alpha, backslash alpha. Hit the space, it automatically turns into alpha. We can do backslash beta, backslash gamma, backslash lambda, backslash pi. So any of the Greek letters you can just type out. If you want the capital Greek letter, it's just the backspace and then the capital, like capital alpha, right? And then as soon as I hit the space bar, it's going to turn into the capital alpha. The capital beta, start with the capital B, capital pi, again, all right? So we can get lowercase and lowercase Greek letters really simply. And again, if we want to get out of this, we just go down to our text and our equation still remains. All right, so that's the first step. I'm going to get rid of these Greek letters, and we're going to do something that we use in our decay equation. So we're going to do lambda. A lot of times, though, I want a superscript or a subscript on this. So if I just hit the space bar, it'll give me the lambda character. But if I want a subscript on it, I use the lower underline key. So lower underline key. So as soon as I hit that, the lambda was converted into the Greek letter, and now I have another prompt. But whatever I type now is going to be a subscript. So we're just going to type a space. All right. Likewise, we can do lambda b, lambda c. All right, now if we want to do superscripts, instead of an underscore, we'll do the caret character. So we'll do lambda caret a, lambda caret b, right? And we can also combine these, lambda underscore a caret b. Right. So superscripts and subscripts are really easy to do. If you want to do this from the menu, you can go up to the top, and it's on, sorry, I gotta think about where it's at. Subscripts. Okay, it's on the script. If you pull down the script button, you can see how it has a superscript, the subscript, the upper and lower subscripts, or the upper and lower subscripts. So if I went ahead and hit this button here, it would give me the formulas with spaces in there. See, and then I could just go to each one of these boxes and I could fill that out. D, E, chloride, all right? So superscripts, subscripts, Greek letters, they're all very easy to do. All right, next thing we want to talk about is fractions. Okay, I'm gonna clean this up a little bit. I'll just take some of those out. All right, we're gonna start a new equation. So we go down, again, to put a new equation in, insert, top menu, insert, equation, and we get the equation editor that comes up. And we want to do fractions. Specifically, let's do f of x equals, now we want to put a fraction in there. One way we can do it is just a/b, and then as soon as we hit the space, it'll automatically convert. A lot of times I'll do that just to get the fraction started. Then I can go up and I can change a. And then I can go in and change b. So a lot of times I'll just start with a slash, and then that gets the fraction in there. And then I can go make it more, I can make the numerator and denominator more complicated. And then after I just put the, I just hit the right arrow key, the left arrow key and the right arrow key. You can see I'm on the lambda, and if I move it to the right, I'm to the b. If I keep going, now I'm outside the fraction and I can put a plus sign. All right, if you don't want to, if you want to use the menu, you can go up to the top to the equation tools and hit this fraction. And again, you can see the fraction comes down. So I could hit this fraction key and it'll just give me a fraction with two boxes, and I can fill the boxes in. Sometimes you want to, instead of a one over the other one, you want to slash, you can do that. And then there's also some common fractions. For example, if I want to do partial y, partial x, I can just go ahead and hit that button. And then, so if I have an equation that's similar to that, for example, if I wanted to do, partial with respect to t, I might go ahead and hit the sample and just change dy to dt, right? So now we know how to do Greek letters, subscripts, and fractions. Okay. Before we do large brackets, let's talk about special functions. All right, special functions. These are functions like exponential, sine, and cosine. Okay, again, we'll start insert equation. All right, n of t, we're going to say the initial, we're going to put an n0 with the subscript, so the underscore 0 space, and then we want to put the exponent. Now notice that the normal script math is an italic script, but if you put a special function in, for example, exponent, sine, or cosine, it'll automatically recognize it. So as soon as I hit a space, it's going to change the exponent text, and it's going to give me a little box. There you go, because it recognizes exponent as a special text. And then in the box, I can put my minus lambda t. Oops. Actually, I did that wrong. I didn't want a subscript. You just backspace it out, put a lambda space, and now a t. The problem with this, of course, is I don't have parentheses, so I can go back and put a parenthesis in there. And now I have an equation, n naught equals exponent of lambda t. Okay, likewise, let's continue this. Oops. Oh, all right, that's a good thing. So why did my equation shift to the left here? What I did is, normally an equation is centered in your text. However, if you type some text after the equation, it'll be inlined. And so what I did is I typed the equation, and then that plus sign is actually not in the equation editor. It's after the equation editor. So if I scroll back over, you can see the highlight. The plus sign is actually outside the equation editor. This is something that happens pretty common. So what I do is I just backspace the plus. Now I have an equation all by itself. Now if I hit the left arrow key again, now I'm inside the equation editor. And now if I hit a plus, there'll be a math plus. All right. So that's a simple mistake that happens all the time. So if all of a sudden your equation shifts to the left, that's why it is because you have text on the back side of your equation. All right, so now I'm going to enter sine. Again, as soon as I hit the space, it's going to convert it to regular text and give me a little box. Sine, I'm going to put a pi, oops, I forgot the backslash pi x parenthesis. Right? So exponents, sines, cosines are the same thing. In our diffusion equation, we have the exponent space of x over L. That's something that comes up. And as soon as I hit the space, I want to put parentheses around this. So I scroll to the left of the, so I'm to the left of the left of the fraction, put a left parenthesis, and I put a right parenthesis. And you can see this looks pretty ugly. So this is where the large brackets come in. So that's why I wanted to do the exponents before I could do the large brackets. A normal parenthesis is just the same size as a character. But if I have something with fractions in it and I want to put a bracket in it, there's something called a large bracket. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to delete, I'm not going to delete the whole thing. I'm going to delete everything for the exponent. I'll get my little box back. Now I'm going to go up to the top. Instead of entering a parenthesis but manually, I'm going to go up to my design. There's a bracket function, and these are large brackets. So I can do regular parentheses, I can do square brackets, I can do curly braces, angles. There's lots of different options here. I'm going to pick the regular parentheses, but this one, like I said, it's a large bracket, and I'll show you what that means. Large bracket, it looks like before. However, now if I enter X, going on the box, enter X over L, you can see that the bracket automatically gets bigger. So anytime you want to put a bracket around a fraction or something, I recommend using the large brackets. Don't just put parentheses around there. One other thing I'll mention while we're talking about exponents is sometimes if you don't want to write EXP, you just want the E. How would we do that? That's just E upper score, right? So that's going to put, instead of using the EXP function, that's going to be E to the power, and then I'm going to put X. Now, if I put a divide here, it's going to divide the whole thing. So I'm going to go ahead and put a space. So now I have an E over to the X. If I go back up to right after the X, but I'm still up in the superscript, now I put a divide by L. Right. So that's another way of doing exponents, is you can just put E and then a caret up to the top. All right, I think that's all they covered. Oh, one other thing, just real quickly, if you are doing LaTeX, if you're used to LaTeX, you can also put a sign using a \sign. Actually, that did not work. I apologize. In LaTeX, you would actually do a \sign. Okay. All right, now a couple other special functions I want to put in here. I'm going to start a new equation. So Laplacian. All right, Laplacian has a strange symbol. So let's say we're going to put a diffusion equation in there. Go back up, insert equation, start your diffusion equation, minus D. Now I need that special Laplacian terms. That's actually called nabla, \NABLA. So it's called nabla. I think you can find it in the menu. You'd have to search around a little bit for it. I just know it from LaTeX. Nabla space, that turns it into the operator. And now I want to put the Laplacian, so I want a square on that. So I put the caret, that gives me the squared. I want flux, that's phi of x, all right, plus capital sigma, right? So it's \capital sigma, but then I want the lowercase a, so that's my sigma a, then again, phi of x equals nu, so that's \nu, then again a sigma, \capital sigma, underscore f, and then phi x. All right, that's all there is to it. We haven't talked about this in class, but let's say we want to put k in front of this. So I go in front of the nu. Now I'm going to go up to the top to the tools, put a fraction in here, and then I can put my 1 over k term. There you go. So there you have the equation editor. It's easy to use. I recommend, I've been using these equations for a long time, so it comes pretty quickly. I realize you might want to practice a little bit to it. All right, that's the basics of the equation editor. One other thing that comes up quite a bit though is Microsoft Word, you can't number equations. All right, so normally you don't need to number equations, but let's just say you're writing a long document and I want to number my equations. All right, I'm gonna hit a couple spaces to start a new page here. Oh, actually there's plenty of room. I'm gonna go back up. All right, how do I number equations in Word? There's no good way of doing that. The best way I found is you actually enter a table. So I go up to Insert, Table, 1 row, 2 columns, and then I put my equation. I'm just going to cut and paste. So I got my diffusion equation from above. I'm going to put that into my table. And then on my right-hand side, I'm going to put equation 1. And I'm going to move the bracket so this shows up way to the right-hand side. Okay, so now a couple things I want to do. The equation 1, I want to send, so I'm going to go to the table. This is actually tables, not so much equations, but if I go to the tables, I can center it. There's the, you can do upper, left centered or right, and then top, middle, or bottom. So I'm going to center equation 1. I'm actually going to center my diffusion equation 2. Okay, and then I don't want the table box showing. So again, in my equation or in my table tools, I'm going to, I think it's in design. Okay, the border styles or shading. No, sorry, I should have. Okay, borders right here. Borders, no border. Okay, so I actually have a table there, but you can see now I have an equation here. Right, so we can go ahead and copy this whole table, right? Maybe we'll write some more text. And then we'll put another table in here, and then we can do 2. So this is kind of one of those tricks you need for numbering equations, all right? There's probably other ways of doing it, but this is the one that I know how. If you really have a long equation with lots of equations and numbering them, and you want to actually have links that go to the different equations, then I recommend LaTeX. Okay. All right, so this covers the basic table equation editor in Word, and also I threw in a little advanced topic. How do I put numbers on my equations? All right, that's it. Thank you.